We're Bree and Derek, and for the last 3 months, we have been living and traveling in our self-converted Sprinter van. We hope this series gives you some knowledge to start your own adventure, whether by van, bus, or car. Welcome back to the More You Know series, episode 2. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to this week's video. This week, we are talking about things you should know before you start van life.
Yes.
And go!
The realities of van life are Instagram makes everything look a little picture perfect. And while sometimes that is the case, and we do wake up in absolutely beautiful places, sometimes it's not always as glamorous. And we wake up in places like this. That was something we had to learn the hard way when starting van life. Of course, you see everyone parked up in these amazing spots, and we thought every spot we had to go to had to be amazing. And at first it was, but we learned that having the convenience of parking at Walmart or somewhere in a more residential and built up area is way easier sometimes than being in those beautiful places, and you just have to come to terms with that, and then you can go in and get groceries whenever, so it's not always bad.
Now, if you do want to get to some of those campsites, you're going to have to know your vehicle. One of the most important things that we didn't really know when we first started out was that our van can't get to all those beautiful campsites. One time in Alberta, we tried to send it on some back road, and our clearance was just not having it whatsoever. We had a trailer hitch on the back, and it lost us about 6 inches of clearance. So a couple things that we've done in order to get to those campsites are we got new tires. These BFG KO2s get us to a lot more places, as well as we took off the back trailer hitch just to get us that little bit extra clearance in order to get into some spots. So depending on what type of off-grid adventure you want to do, whether you're going to stay at mostly campsites or whether you really want to drive up all of those Forest Service roads right up into the mountains, you're really going to have to pick and choose what you want. We find rear-wheel drive gets us to most places, as well as the longer Sprinter gives us that little bit more of a luxury style feel, more like an RV, but without having that super high roof, really wide body. So depending on what you want, you're really gonna have to narrow it down on that.
Neil!
He basically got lost as soon as he jumped in there.
Look at his face.
Yeah, there's my kitty cat. Don't call PETA.
This is what happens when we try and film and then he escapes.
Birds?
Back in the van.
Alley-oop.
So in terms of showers, this is something that you definitely want to think about coming into van life. So for us, we chose to not have an indoor shower, which saves a lot of space, and we did instead an outdoor shower. So we have a hose that hooks up to here, and then this connects to our hot water heater, but this is only good in the summer when it's nice out, and it's great for one of the seasons, but because we're in Canada, it's cold most of the time, so this doesn't work in the winter, and then that's something you have to think about where you're going to be showering next. So obviously hygiene is different for everyone, but for us, we go to gyms or community centers or outdoor shower. Those are usually your 3 options. So just know, how often you want to shower, depending on the activities you're going to do, what you're okay with. During COVID also, it was a lot harder to find showers, so some gyms are closed or the pools are closed, and so it makes it a little bit more difficult if you don't have an indoor shower on board. So just think about that coming in and choose your shower wisely. So Neil here and I are here to talk to you about some toilet business. So toilets are very personal, obviously. I can't tell you what you're comfortable with, but for us, we would like to have a toilet. So we have a composting toilet, Nature's Head, and this was something that was a big yes on our list. Priority in the van was having a toilet. and this is just for convenience. So if we're off grid, it's nice to have a toilet, not have to go dig a hole in the ground, and that's just something that we're really glad we put in. But definitely something to consider when you're starting your rig is, are you okay with not having a toilet? You're just going to have to rely more heavily on using public toilets or going in the bush or wherever you may be. Or would you like a little bit more privacy and feel a little bit more comfortable having a toilet on board in your rig? Just something to consider. There's also copious different brands of toilets and different kinds. There's the composting, there's a chemical toilet, so obviously just preference, but everyone's got to go, so something to think about. Right, Neil? Neil poops in a litter box and we clean it, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
The poop fairy just comes and takes it.
I know, it just magically cleans the box and makes it smell all nice again. Weird. "22 feet long. Toby is a big rig, as you can see. And this is definitely something to consider when you're buying your vehicle, is parking. Parking is hard to find, especially if you own something as big as we do. In the city, small parking lots, street parking, we take up 2 full spaces almost, or 1.5. So it's really difficult to find parking, and that's definitely something to consider depending what type of rig you're gonna buy. If you're getting a really big long RV or something like that, like us, just be prepared to park a little further away, not get close to where you want to go, or sometimes not be able to fit at all, and that's just the price you pay for having a little bit roomier inside. So if you are really going to be in the city a lot or plan on parking in smaller parking lots, maybe consider something a little bit shorter that fits in a 1 parking spot.
Another thing you should know before starting to build out your van is that everything is going to need its own place and everything needs to be locked down. This is something as simple as doing the dishes before you start driving to as complicated as holding down your batteries so that if you hit a speed bump at too high of a speed, they don't fly up. For us, we used ratchet straps on our batteries as well as onto our water tank. For something like our cabinet doors, we use little locks that hold them closed so that when they're this way, you actually have to push down on them and make sure that they're fully locked so that they're not going to fly open. We have our lagoon table, so every time we drive, we have to make sure that this is fully locked so that it can't move as well. Just little things like that that you should need to know. No plants hanging out on the countertops either, unless I've seen people use like sticky Velcro on the bottom of them. But at the end of the day, these are just some things that you should think about before you start your build.
Time to go. Batten down the hatches.
Aye, aye, Captain. And that wraps up this week's video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked that video, smash that like button, comment down below, say hello, welcome to the crew, and we will see you again next Sunday. Bye!
Bye!